Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Welcome back, fangirls and fanboys. It's episode 17 of Electric Fancave on electricfeast.com. Corrigan Vaughn here with my chum, Kristen Latterell. We're trying out a few new things today, so let us know what you think. On the show, we're talking about the two biggest things on the internet this morning, Macaulay Culkin's super meta t-shirt choice, and Solange Knowles officially becoming Jay-Z's 100th problem. We'll discuss the brutal TV upfront season, the trailer for Chris Evans' crazy new movie, and the Talk Dirty to Me parody video we all knew was coming. All that and more in the next hour, so kick back, grab a cold beverage, and let's have a little chat, shall we?
Shall we? We shall.
We shall. Everyone should probably know that intro took me multiple tries.
I know, I almost fell asleep, actually.
Yeah. Ugh, so problematic.
That's okay.
So, Kristen, my mother sent me this thing this morning.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I feel like every time I close my eyes tonight, I'm going to see those pictures.
So, I don't know.
That sounded creepy.
My mom is on Facebook, and she likes to post things and tag me in them. A lot of times, like, so that it shows up on my page, as opposed to, like, tagging me in the comments, so that it's like, oh, Corey, pay attention to this. Instead, she actually, like, tags me in it so that everyone I know is also assaulted with whatever she's posted on my page. Today, that thing happened to be that this artist from, like, where was he from? Because it was like Barstow. He's from Barstow.
Yeah, Bat County, they said.
Or Bat Country, right?
So sure, that too.
Because it's like that Avenged Sevenfold song.
Pretty sure. Oh, is that what that meant? Oh, okay. I thought there was a lot of bats there. Isn't that what that means?
I have no idea. I don't really know what it means. All I know is I don't super want to go there.
All I know is Barstow's disgusting and has that giant thermometer, and that's the only reason that you stop there, and to pee.
I don't even think I knew about the giant thermometer. Like, I've never stopped, I don't think. I've driven past and
yes, exactly. You've done it correctly.
Yeah, and so Barstow is basically, through these photos, these pictures, I feel like it's validating everything I know about Barstow. This guy created these images of old school Nickelodeon characters, but like strung out and like in the act of ingesting drugs, and the artwork is so creepy. It's like Ren and Stimpy-esque and like...
But like creepier and grosser.
Oh, it's so disturbing. I feel like JoJo from the Electric Feast's cinematic Disturbatorium would be super into these pictures. So JoJo, if you're listening, check those out. I might just Facebook them to you or tag you, so you know.
So then
it shows
you
up.
should post them on his wall, so then everybody he knows can also be scarred for life.
Yeah,
my inner childhood is like screaming. Why?
Yeah. I mean,
that Hey Arnold one, because he was all covered with like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The Doug one was the worst.
Yeah, I think the Doug one's the worst because he's like straight shooting like something into his neck.
His neck's all effed up and his hair's, gone. And
yeah. Oh, it's so creepy. So you can see it if you are into that kind of thing on electricfeast.com. I'll link to it, but that was the first thing I saw this morning. I like get up and I'm like, let me check my social networks. Dear God, Mom, why? Like, who's Mom?
This is why I'm not friends with my mom on Facebook, you guys.
Yeah. I bet Patty would post better.
Yeah, she probably would, but I know. She always tries to give me a hard time, like guilt trip me into it. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to be friends with you on Facebook. Like, that's my thing.
Like, you legitimately like reject. You will not.
Yeah, and I've told her, and she's like, keeps trying to make me feel bad about it. I'm like, you cannot make me feel bad about something that I don't feel bad about. I don't want to be your friend. I'm like, I love you. Don't get me wrong. This has nothing to do with how much I love you, but this is why. Case in point. Yeah. I'm just gonna share this with her and be like, this is why we're not friends. Not really, but
yeah. No, I would use it as a good example. You know. Yeah. My mom also does this thing where she likes all of her own Facebook posts. And I like confronted her about it.
Because then it always gets at least one like, right?
I don't know if that's like she didn't.
Yeah.
I confronted her about it, and I was like, is that an accident? Like, I know you're not great with your phone. Are you accidentally liking every time you do it? She's like, no, I like it. I'm like, that's implied when you post it. Like, that's your endorsement. You don't need to further like it.
Yeah, there's this other guy I know on Instagram. He likes all his own pictures.
So that seems like that's even more pathetic seeming.
Yeah. Well, his thing is like, well, at least now I'll always have one like. Like, well, I guess. But it's you, so it doesn't really count as a like.
Yeah, I
don't quite get your thought process there, but
but if it makes him happy,
to each his own.
Yeah, be it.
Yeah,
I don't super get it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that little bit of things going on in my life, and one more little piece of excitement in my life, just to like balance out
the creepy awfulness. Yes.
Yeah, thatness. I got to tell Mark Maron he was my favorite the other day.
Yeah, I know.
And
everyone seems stoked about that. I don't know who that is. I IMDb'd him, and it didn't help.
Yeah, probably not.
So.
Because he's like one of those people who's kind of been around for a while, but like...
I just chalked it up to somebody you know that nobody else does. Or, lots of people I don't know.
A lot.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say nobody else knows.
Yeah.
Just one of the people that you know that I don't, which is most of the people you know.
Yeah, this is fair. I have weird taste, as we've discussed before.
Sure.
But I'm obsessed with Mark Maron, and he has a show called Maron that is basically kind of like Louis, like, a comic who is sort of a ne'er-do-well, and it's autobiographical, and it's like, the conceit is that he's recording his podcast while he's making this show. So then the ends of his podcast, or the ends of the show, are always him like giving the object lesson or whatever, the moral of the story to his podcast listeners. And his podcast is fantastic. It's called WTF.
So wait, he also has a podcast?
He really does have a podcast.
They're not real. Okay.
Yeah, he really does have a podcast.
Talk about being meta on your show. Maybe does he wear a T-shirt of you wearing a T-shirt of him or something?
That's a good segue we're gonna use. But anyway, but just quickly, I did. I went to go see a filming of At Midnight, the Chris Hardwick show, and he was like leaving because we were sitting like right next to the comedians during the episode.
Nice.
And so he was like walking off at the end of it, and I couldn't help myself. I was like, they'd stopped filming, and I was like, Mark Maron! And he turned around, and I was like, ah! And then I made the little heart shape with my hands. And I was like, you're my favorite. And he was like, oh, thank you. And he leaned over and he did like a little like bow thing, and he smiled, and I was like, stop being adorable, Mark Maron. Oh my gosh. He was so cute. He was like hugging everybody, like all the comedians and stuff, and he like kissed what's her face, Natasha Leggero, on the head at the end of the thing. And like when Nate Bargatze got like voted off or whatever at the end of it, he like turned around and he was like, we're hanging out later, right? And he's like, yeah. I was just like, stop, why are you so cute and wonderful? So that's the uplifting end of current news in my life. It was great. But so in meta things and t-shirts, Macaulay Culkin.
Dude, at first, I probably should have read. I didn't read the caption first. I just looked at it. I'm like, what is going? I don't know. It
like the first thing is I didn't even like at first I didn't recognize him. Yeah.
I was like, is this
like he looks pretty good?
Well, like, kind of hard to tell. He had sunglasses on.
Yeah,
hair kind of looked like he just woke up.
Yeah. So in this photo, not too long ago, there was a photo that came out of Ryan Gosling, like at the gas station or something, and he's wearing a Macaulay Culkin t-shirt. Like it's a t-shirt that just has a photo of Macaulay Culkin on it.
Because those are things now, like black and white pictures of people.
Yeah, that's cool or whatever. I'm sure it's $28 at Urban Outfitters.
Yeah, I'm like, you can make that with a printer app.
Exactly, which is what I assume Macaulay Culkin did, because Macaulay Culkin showed up today wearing a t-shirt that has a picture of Ryan Gosling wearing the Macaulay Culkin t-shirt. And it is about the most perfect thing I've ever seen in my life. I was a huge Macaulay Culkin fan as a kid, like,
well, yeah,
out of control Macaulay Culkin fan. And like one of the biggest tragedies of my life was that I wasn't allowed to watch The Good Son because it was like a scary movie. And like the moment I got my own like video store account or could use someone else's, I like went and that was the first thing I got. I was like, hell yeah, Macaulay Culkin.
The difference between you and me, I rented a Kid in King Arthur's Court 18 times.
Go big or go home, laddie.
We'd have been great friends.
Yeah. Either way.
Made me watch that and I'm like, why are we watching this?
Yeah, much like our lives now.
Nicholas in it. Just kidding.
But yeah, so I'm always happy when I see him like doing well or like,
not in rehab or something.
Not in rehab, anything like that. Like he grew up and he's a weird looking dude.
Yeah.
And so, like, he always looks, like, strung out or whatever, but I don't think he is. Like, he was dating Mila Kunis for, like, 9 years.
True. Which that was always so bizarre to me.
It was, yeah.
Like, he must be super awesome.
Right? That's what I figure. Like, he couldn't have been, like, crazy, messed up dude, because she doesn't seem like the kind of person who would, like, take that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
true. Very true.
Yeah, so I feel good about Macaulay Culkin in general. But in this picture, I think you're right. It's that he's wearing sunglasses, and that makes, like, his eyes are very sunken, and so that's usually why he looks weird.
Yeah. And that's where his recognition, I think, comes from, is, like, this part of his face, and that was the part that was hidden. And he had, like, this long, like, Kurt Cobain hair going on. I'm like, what is this, like, a picture from the 90s? How does he have that picture?
Kurt Cobain. Yeah.
Did you think that, too? I'm like, wait, how is he wearing a shirt of Ryan Gosling? What's going on right now? What year is this? It was, like, I was in a time portal. I was like, where am I?
I was afraid I'd woken up in an alternate timeline.
I know. I was like, are we friends right now? Am I, like, have I crossed over to their side? What's going on?
Yeah, so it's pretty great.
I
was happy.
If he does nothing else all year,
which he probably won't. Does he do other things? I don't know.
I don't think so. His brother does stuff. You always see his brother doing stuff.
Oh yeah, totally. And actually, someone I know went to, like, a concert or a play or something that Macaulay Culkin was singing in the other day. So
there you go. There's that.
Yeah, so I guess he has pursuits. He may not be in movies constantly, but he's doing things. I wonder if he's like the Olsen twins, where he just has, like, $1 bajillion from being a child star. Probably not, because they had, like, an empire. But
true. I mean, they had all those videos and makeup and clothes and stuff.
Yeah, but I wonder if he can, like, live off of, like, Home Alone revenue. Home Alone was on TV yesterday. It's May. Hold on. Whoop. Are you back?
Yep.
Okay, good.
I think I've been here. You're skipping out on me.
Oh,
I don't know.
Skipping out.
You're both skipping out, maybe. Who knows?
I don't know. All right. Say what you were saying.
Was he one of those people that his parent? I mean, he had a big falling out with his parents. So weren't they stealing money from him? I thought he was one of those guys.
I think they were. Yeah, and then he got, like, legally emancipated when he was like really young.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd, like, drained him at that point, and so he was, like, broke. But I don't know. I feel like, he's not, like, he does his indie movies. He's kind of respectable, and that's cool. And yeah, his brother, it's Kieran, is the one who's everywhere, right? Because there's multiple. There's, like, Kieran Culkin, and then there's, which one was the one who was in Signs? Is that Kieran?
That was Kieran, I thought. Honestly, I probably just think they're all Kieran, because that's the only other one I can remember.
I don't think that's Kieran, because I think he's older than me, and the one who was in Signs is obviously younger than me.
Oh, well, the one that looks just like Kieran but isn't Kieran, you mean that one?
They all look the same.
I know they do.
They're all the same person.
Oh, gosh. Thank you.
It
makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, one of the Culkins, whoever it was.
So a Culkin with an Irish name. I don't.
Yeah. Gosh.
That's gonna bug me though.
Can even say Culkin. Want me to look it up?
Yeah, you should look it up because Rory Culkin.
Oh, okay, there we go.
That was the one I was looking for. I don't know if he does stuff as well. Because again, I assume they're all Kieran.
I do assume they're all Kieran. I actually just blew my mind. Then you're like, oh, Rory? I'm like, oh, I guess there is another one.
Yeah. And I may have the order wrong. So I don't know which one was in Signs.
Yeah, Rory was in Signs.
Okay. Yes, Rory, I'm on it.
But Rory does look a lot like Kieran.
Yeah.
Rory's been in stuff too. But nothing I've even heard. I haven't heard of any of these things. He was in Scream 4.
Oh, that was Rory? Mm-hmm. See, I've been thinking it was Kieran.
You would say that to me.
And I've seen that movie like 6 times.
Dude, you know what blew my mind is that freaking guy from, what's it called? X-Men, the Iceman?
Shawn Ashmore.
He's got a twin brother.
Yeah, Ryan Ashmore. And I can totally tell them apart.
Okay, see, I just thought Shawn Ashmore was in everything. I'm like, first of all, how is he in the 300, in the following, and also, there's another show that, my parents watch Warehouse 13.
Oh, yeah.
But, so... The other one is in
Ryan
Warehouse
Ashmore
13. Yeah, and so I was so confused. I'm like, whoa. I was like, how's he doing both these shows? And my brother's like, my dad, of all people, Tom, knew that they were twins. I was like, what?
You got outdid by your dad.
I know, which doesn't, that usually only happens with, like, movies from 1954, because he can name, who was in a Wild Wild West episode once. And I'm like, okay. He's like, oh, you know who that is? I'm like, no. Oh, remember they played the wife of the guy that robbed the train in that one episode of Bonanza. I'm like, why would I know that? Why do you know that?
I'd probably know that. Me and Tom would get along. We do get along, so there's that. Where do we, Rory?
And t-shirt meta.
Oh, no, I was just thinking about the twins thing. This is, like, one of my weird, like, well, obviously this is how I am with, like, celebrities, like those weird celebrities in general, but that like since I was like 11 years old, I've been able to tell Shawn Ashmore and Ryan Ashmore apart. Like I studied their photos really hard as a kid, and I know it. So now when one shows up, I know exactly which one it is. Keo will be like, "Oh, it's Iceman." I'm like, "Nope, it's not."
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's these two. I mean, I can never tell my friends apart that are twins, let alone, you know. There are these two kids in high school. God, I can never tell them apart. They look so much alike.
If I know them well, I can. But I used to be really creeped out by twins, and then it ended up
because of The
being,
Shining, and they're holding hands.
right?
And,
like all my experiences with
hallway.
twins is like creepy, and it's weird to me that two people can have the same like face.
Dude, and did you hear about those mono twins that were born?
Yeah, and they came out holding hands. And,
Well, apparently they made this big deal that they held hands after they came out. I'm like, whatever. It's still creepy.
yeah, it still weirds me out.
Crazy. They're like holding this picture, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
Yeah, and the article was like, there wasn't a dry eye in the place. I'm like, were people screaming and crying?
In fear?
Yeah, it freaks me out. No, but then I ended up like multiple times having roommates who were twins. So, you know, it was like my lot in life. Like
Yeah,
I had
that's
to
right.
get over that.
It's true.
Yeah.
See?
And the
Fear.
thing is too, like my roommates were always like same letter twins, so it would sound like I couldn't tell them apart, but really it was just that their names were too like Monica and Michelle or
True.
Karen and Katie and things like that. And so I'm always like, I'd be like sitting there. I remember one day I was like sitting in her room and I turned around and I was like, Monica, 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 Monica. And for some reason, Michelle, like, just refused to acknowledge that this is happening. Like, it's like, no, you've known me for 2 years. You need to call me by my right name.
Yeah. She's like, girl, you must be tripping.
Yeah. It's like, I just got the wrong name. I'm sorry. It happens. Aunt. Anyway. So, yeah, Macaulay Culkin, you win yourself an internet today, sir.
Winner.
Congratulations.
Ayo.
So let's talk a little bit also about Solange Knowles. Did you see what happened?
No, I just saw that it was like a video or something. I don't know.
Video game?
I didn't actually see it.
This is like the weirdest thing, because, okay.
It's also
Beyonce...
creepy that she's the 99th person. That whatever you were saying. Or 100th person, I mean. Whatever. Because he's like married to her sister. So.
Okay, here's the thing.
Okay, explain
so,
it to me.
today a video came out. TMZ released it. And it's an elevator surveillance video. And it appears to be from after the Met Gala that happened last week or whatever. They're all in their fancy and all that stuff. And they walk into the elevator and like Solange like goes up and she like gets in Jay's face and then all of a sudden just starts swinging. And she is like trying to beat the crap out of him in this elevator. And Beyonce's just like, Beyonce's just standing there and like, you know, whatever is happening. Like, you can't super see faces or whatever, but she's just standing there. And the bodyguard, like, grabs her, you know, and is trying to, like, and he's, like, kind of holding her around the midsection. So then she just starts kicking. And, like, Jay-Z, like, kind of grabs her leg and, like, kind of pushes her away. Like, he doesn't fight back or anything like that. And, like, Beyonce just kind of standing there. I think at one point she might, like, kind of step out, like, and just be like, hey. And then there's, like, all these photos from, like, afterwards, like, when they stepped out of the elevator, and, like, Solange and Beyonce, and Jay both look a little, like, rattled. Beyonce's just smiling, like, back in Beyonce character. It is so crazy.
So, and there's no commentary on it, just that.
No, because you can't hear anything because it's just a surveillance video.
Okay, but they don't know anything else other than the video. That is bizarre.
Yeah, so one of the things trending on Twitter right now is like what Jay-Z said to Solange or something like that, and people are just like making jokes about what they think
are arguing about.
Happened. One of my favorites is that Sarah Benincasa, who's an amazing comedian, she hashtagged it Solangazi. Like Benghazi, but Solange.
I see what she did there. Got it.
And yeah, it was just, I don't know. It's so weird because like Beyonce's supposed to always be in control, you know? And it's like weird to see this thing happening. And even then it's like she just doesn't want to deal with it. It's like, this is not
happening or what? I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't understand not stepping in. Like if there's elevators aren't huge.
No. Yeah, I mean, I guess, like the bodyguard had it or whatever, but...
Still,
it's
like...
your sister.
Thank you. I'm sorry. If I'm there and my sister is beating up my husband and I'm just like, I gotta let them figure it out. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm stepping in. I'm like, girl, what is going on? Like, what's happening? You know, or I don't know, something, anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like even if maybe she's in the right for being mad at him, like, you'd still be like, all right, maybe not here. maybe we work this out, maybe less kicking.
Yeah, no need to get violent, you know?
Yeah, because, like...
Can't we all just get along? Yeah. I don't know, something.
And I think that's kind of what she tried to do, because I think it's her that sort of steps in front of Jay-Z, and I think it's more like, obviously, she's not going to kick her. Yeah. So she just kind of, like, steps out and gets in the way. But it's just, like, the weirdest sort of, like, when you have a celebrity who has as cultivated an image, like, as curated and as, like, perfect as hers is, it's, like, kind of disturbing to, like... pull back the curtain and be like,
they have real life and there's stuff going on.
Yeah, like there's
it's going down.
Yeah, timber. It's
can't see because I'm sitting down, but I'm like,
yeah, but you were there. I feel
doing
it. Oh no, this just got super white.
I didn't get you my fairy dance for you guys.
Oh yeah. No,
I'm just kidding. I'm not really gonna do that.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Anyway, that is weird though. Bizarro.
Yeah, it's super bizarro. So I don't know. That was a weird thing that occurred today. I don't know if the thing is with that image that she projects. I don't know if we'll ever really know what happened.
No way.
It'll be like a canned statement. You know, this is a private family matter.
It was a misunderstanding.
Yeah, a misunderstanding, something of that nature, and. We'll move on from it. But today, that is like I would say like every third tweet on my timeline today is about it. Like it's super, super big deal.
Read the internet more.
I know.
Missed that one.
This is why you need to tweet.
Oh, gosh.
Tweet. It's where all the information is. Or just like watch tweets.
Because I have a hard time reading them because they're like... have weird language. There's like that real RT in the middle and then the @ sign. And then like I feel like I read the first one and then I read the one that I had already read because that was the initial thing that they're replying to. So then I feel like I keep reading. I'm like, I feel like this is all the same. It's very confusing.
You make that sound so complicated.
It is complicated, Corey. It's very complicated. You don't get it. I just don't.
We'll work on this.
Okay.
We're on Twitter now.
I know it. Oh, gosh.
And so we'll work on getting Laddie here to be able to figure it out. But you can
You'll be able to tell when it's always me, the one that's tweeting, because it'll be like, Mercury, what's happening? Yeah. What is this?
It's just going to say like RT at hashtag.
Hashtag what's happening.
And
hashtag
it's
made me do it.
Yeah, and you know what? On that note, what's that sound, Laddie?
Oh, it's things I don't know why that's a thing.
Yep, this is our new segment. Why is that a thing?
Why is that a thing?
With Kristen Ladder.
Why is that a thing? Why is
where we let Kristen here just rant for a few minutes and talk about things she doesn't understand. Laddie, what's on your mind today?
Okay, so this week, I was like, I kind of mentor some high school students, and first off, they Snapchat a lot, right?
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand it one bit. Because first of all, like the picture deletes, right? But then you like draw pictures on it. So I'm at the Clipper game and this kid in front of me what Clipper games are like 2 hours maybe or whatever. The entire time he's taking pictures of himself and Snapchatting them. But he's like drawing different things on him and he's like, doing all these faces. I'm like, all those things are the same. Like everything you're doing is, why aren't you watching the game? Like granted, it's not like we were courtside or anything. So it's not like that exciting. But we weren't like at the top, you had decent-ish seats. Mm-hmm. I wasn't even watching at all. And I'm like, I don't understand this fascination with this chatting of the snap, and it deletes anyway, you know? And then the whole thing that started was that the girl I was with, she'd like Snapchatted some of the other girls that we know. And she was like, oh, with Kristen, which I'm like, oh, it's kind of fun, you know? But they're like, oh, Illy, Kristen. I'm like, Illy? What does that mean?
Oh,
and she's like,
I love you, right?
Right. I'm like, and they're like, oh, you don't know what Illy is? No.
Do they say Illy?
Yes, as a thing. It's like a thing.
Oh,
Illy.
I did not know that.
I don't know if they say it out loud, but they type it.
Yeah, I know they type it, yeah.
But then, I mean, I just don't understand why you can't just say, oh, we love Kristen, or I love you, or, I mean, pretty soon English is going to be like, oh, Illy, BRB, what TW, I don't know. It's
what
like,
TW?
And I just speak normal, or just like, why do we have to shorten everything? Like, are we that, like, in a rush to just be, we can't can't type out I love you, it has to be Illy, and I'm like, now I have to sit here and decode it all. I'm turning into like a mom, like, you know, those mom texts where it's like, oh, LOL, your grandma died, it's like lots of love, not laugh out loud, you know? That's gonna be me, because I'm like, Illy, it's gonna be I love you, but it's gonna change then to, you know, icky, I don't know, I can't even think of three words that start with those letters.
Like, I know.
But it's just like, it's so frustrating.
I get that.
I don't get it. And I just
yeah.
feel like I'm so behind all the time.
Right?
I don't, like I said, I don't understand Twitter shorthand. And people always like, oh, you know, this. And I read it. I'm like, I feel like grammar goes out the window. And I know you only have a certain amount of characters. But just like make your thoughts shorter. Like, let's work on just condensing and being concise. Like, you can have a concise thought and still use correct spelling and not weird capitals and weird shorthands for, like, you know, I think
I'm gonna have to like come up with like a quiz of like abbreviations and see if you can like identify them or not.
I would fail. I still can never remember what there's SMH. I'm always like, I don't never know what SMH is.
I had a professor who thought that was.
I always think it's like F the woman, but that's not it. It's
wow.
You know what I can't, I don't know.
I had a professor who thought SMH meant sucks my hat, which I thought was a weird conclusion to jump to.
I always like, sm. That's what I think it is. I'm like, I guess it's kind of like sm. Like,
yeah, that kind of gives the same vibe of what shakes my head. Is that what it is? That's
just because I can never remember. So
well, it's shaking my head or shakes my head, you know.
And then I always thought it was smack my head, like,
Like, these are all along the right lines, I think. Like, you get the sentiment behind SMH.
Sometimes, but it's more of like every time I see SMH, I have to like stop and be like, all right, what is that one again? Because I have to think about it instead of just being able to read it like a normal person and then get someone's meaning. It's like I have to decode it.
Did you use AIM when you were like
in middle
and high school?
I was that person who used like correct capitalization and periods and exclamation points, and I'm like my dad too. My texting, I don't know if you noticed, majority of the time it's like has capitals, and I
do that too.
Parentheses.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I'm not like the greatest grammar person in the world, but I try really hard because I feel like that's a lost art.
And you know, it's a lot easier to communicate when the person doesn't have to decode what you just said to them.
It's already hard enough to get like things like, sarcasm never works. So like trying to get things across electronically is hard enough. Like, why are you making it even harder? Yeah. And I have to like, what's that again? What's illy? I need like a shorthand list like printed on the back of my cell phone so I can be like, okay.
Yeah. This is like when people had pagers. Do you remember like there were like number codes that meant stuff?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And also kind of transferred early texting.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I remember being, my friend Ashley, when her like husband was like trying to ask her out and she was like not feeling it before they were married, obviously. And he was like, oh, 823. And we're like, 823? What is that?
Like, yeah, 187.
Yeah, like all these
69.
909, that's my area code. I don't know. You know, it's like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. That's too much. That's too much to remember. At least like the letters are like kind of intuitive. I can usually sort of figure out what they are. But when it comes to like Snapchat, like I want to understand it. And like I'll send them occasionally. But I really feel like if you're not using them for nudes, there's not really like a reason to send Snapchats.
I don't even want to know. Like she was like, you know, when they're trying to make fun of me, like, oh, you don't know what illy is? I'm like, I'm glad I don't know what illy is. Like, thank God. Thank God I don't know what that is. The second I start knowing what those things are, now I guess I know. But
yeah, now you know.
Like, I'm okay with not knowing some of these things.
Yeah,
I'm glad with being annoyed about it, and I'm like,
live your life.
Yep,
that's cool. So that was today's Why Is That a Thing with Kristen.
I can just flip the desk and walk away. This desk's way too big.
We'll tune in next week and find out what's on her mind then. So for now, how about something that I think we understand at least mostly, the Talk Nerdy to Me video. Yes. So here's a clip of that for those who are listening and not watching on YouTube. And I think this is like, I knew when Talk Dirty to Me came out as a song, like somebody has to make the Talk Nerdy to Me video. Like, it's inevitable. And these people nailed it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, like, they managed to, like, they throw everything in. So, like, if you're into video games, they've got their, like, you know, shout-outs to the video games.
Thing.
Yeah, you know, and COD and all this kind of stuff. And then, they've got the magic. They've got like all the like Harry Potter references. Like, I have to read from this verse because I think it's so genius. So It says,
is it the one about the wands?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, that was my favorite part.
And it starts with a Doctor Who thing. So this verse says, you name all 12 of the docs. I can't resist that. And what's the core in your wand? I think that ours match. Because I know with me, you'd get sort Durmstrang to Hogwarts. I'm pretty sure on me, you've cast a curse girl, the Imperious one.
Oh my gosh, so good. That's when I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard. It's a match.
It's a match. It's so good, and like it's high quality, which I always like.
Dancing is really good. I like the nerd dancing.
Oh my gosh, because they can legitimately dance, and they manage to make it nerdy at the same time. And the costumes, they've got your Harley Quinn and your Joker and like all these different characters. It's so good.
It was pretty epic. I did enjoy that. And I also thought of you because, well, one, you sent it to me. Well, two, though, it made me think of that one time when you went to the Star Trek premiere, remember? And there's that big hoopla over the fact that you wrote Carl Urban for president. Like, oh, she's a girl. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And it's like, and yet people make these videos where it's like, oh, like you want someone to be able to talk this stuff with you, but yet you're also going to like brag on it. So I was like, kind of thought of you like, this is justice, Corrigan.
Exactly. Justice. Gosh darn it. And Carl Urban for president.
Yes, please.
No, I had a lot of fun with this sort of video, and like these parodies are always so like hit or miss too. So I'm glad like the first one really get it out there. I don't know, maybe there's other versions that other people tried to do it, but that this was like a high quality thing, and you know, I hope it goes super viral.
I hope so too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, good job to you people who
talk nerdy to me people.
Talk nerdy to me. It was a lot of fun. And moving right along, that'll also be on electricfeast.com, so check out the blog. Let's talk about TV a little bit. So we've got some exciting things. We've got some sad things. It's upfronts time. We're finding out who's renewed, who's canceled, all that jazz. I think we both can rejoice in the fact that Mindy is safe.
Get
Mindy
it.
Project,
and Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which are both shows that I habitually binge watch. Like, just over and over again.
Can I just quick Mindy thing? My friend from work, I've been telling her, like, you have to watch it. And she's like, okay. And then finally, you know, they put all the seasons of Mindy on Hulu. So she's like, okay, I'm going to watch it. I was like, great. I get this text from her last night that goes, wait, is it? I'm going to say it anyway because it already aired. So if you don't want to hear something kind of spoilery-ish, sort of, not really.
Yeah, give it like 20 seconds.
Stop listening for like 20 seconds. When she texts me with, oh my God, him kissing her on the plane. Yowza. I love the fact that she said yowza. I was like, yowza. That's incredible. That's probably my favorite part of the text, but I was like, I know.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, so many feels.
All the feels. Yeah.
Anyway,
so you can listen again now, but Mindy Project and Brooklyn Nine-Nine are safe, which is wonderful. Sadly, Fox was the one who broke my heart mostly this season because we lose Almost Human, which I loved, and that was just screw you, Fox. I also liked Surviving Jack. Like, it wasn't my favorite thing in the world, but I enjoyed it.
I feel like that one didn't get much of a chance. How many episodes aired? Like 5?
Yeah, that's a thing. Like they CBS canceled Bad Teacher, and it aired 2 episodes.
I'm not gonna like a lot of these ones. I was looking at the list. I'm like, I haven't even heard of like half of these. Oh, those got canceled. I'm like, okay.
Like, when did it come on?
When was that a thing
in the first place?
Granted, I only have like 3 shows, and I'm like religious about, but
and then Enlisted too. Like that they put on Fridays. And who is really watching a lot of sitcoms on Fridays? I mean, the Tim Allen one is the one that kind of keeps going in perpetuity. Yeah, Last Man Standing in perpetuity. But Enlisted was actually really funny, and it had like this big underground fan base trying to save it because it was I
love that show. I didn't know it was on the. I guess I should have guessed. But
yeah, if you happen to have caught it, you liked it, but nobody saw it. It's such a pain. So
it's like
Fox,
these mid-season premieres, and I'm like, I kind of feel like you didn't really promo it very well. It's in the middle of the season, and then like, why are you surprised that no one's watching it? Like, probably, and then you death kill it to Friday. I'm like, gosh.
Yeah, and like, I don't think I ever saw a commercial for it, and I watch a fair amount of TV, so yeah, I think like a lot of these just were kind of like sunk before they really got, as my friend Lexi Rupinian put it, got their sea legs. And yeah, so I don't know. I think maybe it's like, hopefully that's because there's just so much good new stuff.
Yeah.
That's why, including Gotham. Don't be silent. This is a podcast, laddie. You have to verbalize your excitement.
I'm sorry. That was my excited silentness. I was like, because I don't want to scream. But oh my gosh, you guys, I think I've watched that trailer way more than I should have, which I don't think that's even possible because you should watch it a million times. It looks amazing.
Yeah, like over and over.
Can I just tell you something really quick? Is that Ryan Atwood is aging incredibly well.
He is.
He looks, basically, every once in a while, he gets like, he kind of makes a face. I'm like, oh, he's got a little bit of wrinkles going on, but it's like a good wrinkle.
Mm-hmm. Like a good, you don't look like a high schooler. Yeah,
you don't look like a high schooler, but you're also still kind of boyish and good looking. And I'm like, I'd still make out with you. And I'm like,
big time.
Yeah, so good. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. And it's got those, I don't know, just the way it was. That trailer just really, they did a good job.
Yeah.
And if it's not as good as it looked in the trailer, then their trailer people should get a raise.
Yeah, really, for sure. And can I just say, I'm so glad that Donald Logue is in this, because Donald Logue is like, he's been one of my favorites forever. Did you ever watch Life?
Yes,
show?
The one with Damian
Lewis.
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought the relationship between Donald Logue and the female officer on that was just fantastic. Like, I rave about that to people constantly, because I'm like, it's just like, she gets to still be like the strong woman, and he gets her, and like there's no stereotypes in their relationship at all. Like, they just like, it just knocks it all down, and yet she's not a dude. That's the way that they usually like portray it, as like, oh, if a woman is a strong woman, she's a man.
She's a man. Yeah.
And she's not. Like, they let her like just
get it, girl.
Oh my gosh, everyone should watch Life. I think it's still on Netflix.
It is.
I'm due for a rewatch.
Yeah.
And Donald Logue is just amazing.
I feel like he's one of those people where I'm like, hey, wait, he's like one of those guys.
Yeah.
Or that guys, or whatever.
He's that guy. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that. I've heard it both ways. But yeah, where I'm like, hey, it's that guy from everything that I've ever. And you IMDb and you're like, oh yeah, because you're like, wait, what is he from? Oh, he's from all of these things.
The funny thing is, like, he came on my radar like in the first place when he was on those like panel shows on VH1. You know, like, I love the 90s, I love the 80s, all that. Like, so I just thought he was, like, some random comedian or whatever. And then it's like, no, he's, like, a solid actor.
Person.
Like, and I just read this article the other day that was sort of talking about how he's being, like, catapulted now out of that guy's status. So, like, he just had a run on SVU, and now he's, you know, in Gotham, and he's sort of appearing in these roles that are more recognizable and more, like, mainstream. Because he was also in Terriers, which was really well-received, but got canceled immediately.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch it, but I remember the commercials. FX, right?
Yeah, FX, exactly. And so, like, this interview with him was just amazing, and he's like really an interesting guy because like they meet in this like divey like restaurant that's like everybody in the place knows his name and who he is, and he like knows everybody's family and all that kind of stuff. And like he not only is like an actor and fairly successful at it, but you know, obviously not like a bajillionaire or anything like that, but his other thing is he owns like a ton of businesses. So, like, he's, like, actually, like, an entrepreneur, like, or, like just, like, a businessman.
He's like a Wahlberg?
He's like a Wahlberg! Yeah! So, I'll look up this article again, see if I can find it, and then link to it. Because, he's a really interesting character, and it talks to, like, his siblings and stuff, too, and, like, the way that they talk about him is, it's really...
Let's talk about the fact that his name is Donald, which is
his name is
rad.
Donald. There's no D. It's great. Donald. I mean, there is a D, but it's at the beginning, not the end.
Right, not at the end.
Yeah. Because I think, like, his parents are, like, actually, like, Irish immigrants, too.
I feel like you have to name your kid, you have to be, if your kid is named that. That's not like you moved to America, named your kid that? No way. That's like a...
Yeah, my stepdad, his middle name is Ronald, with no D, but supposedly, and I don't know if this is, like, a myth, but it was because, like he's like the second one, so his dad was the first Gary Ronald Arnold, and the like myth behind it is that like so his grandpa was like drunk when he wrote it on the birth certificate.
I like that. Yeah. I like it a lot.
So it's not like an Irish thing so much as a like, well, that's close enough.
Or is it an Irish thing? I think we're saying the same thing.
That's a really good point. It could be a little bit of both of those.
A little bit of both there. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, but so I love Donald Logue, and I'm really excited about Gotham. The trailer looks incredible, and I think this is sort of poised to be the show of the season.
Yes.
You know, the thing everyone's watching. And it's nice to have those, you know, the thing that, like, in any, like, group of people, you can sit down and be like, all right, did you guys watch the latest one of this? And since Lost, it's been hard to have something like that, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, well, and you're one of those people who didn't watch Lost, but don't be ridiculous.
Oh, I'm sorry. I fell asleep. Were we
But
talking about
regardless of whether you like it or not, that was like most people you interacted with watched it, so you could always talk about it.
That's always when I went to the bathroom or something during those conversations, because
Exactly.
I always happened at the party you're at.
Yep. And so maybe Gotham will be that, and you'll not go to the bathroom during pop culture conversations.
Heyo. Then maybe I'll get more things.
Yeah, exactly. It all comes around. This is like why, like, I keep coming across people who haven't seen Mean Girls.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't know you people existed. You're like a unicorn. Like, I must paint you. And on top of it, like, how do you get like, people talk in Mean Girls quotes all the time.
I just did one earlier today.
Yeah, like every day I think I make at least one.
I always say the white set vagina and a heavy flow. Like, at least
once a month.
Let's even go here.
Right? Like, there's so many things that, like, come from that movie that I'm just like, I feel like you don't really understand the internet until you've watched Mean Girls, because it's probably like the most like across the board
the White
thing.
House made a Mean Girls.
Right.
I mean,
once the White House makes a Mean Girls reference, you know it's really entrenched in pop culture, and you should know about it.
It's clearly a thing.
It's clearly.
If I know about it, then you internet people should all have read it by now. Because that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's like, yeah, every time I come across people who haven't seen it, I'm just like, you are going to watch it, and then you're going to be like, oh.
Or my past 10 years of my life have been wasted.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like and also though, are they our age usually?
Like, people our age, all ages. Yeah, all over the place.
Wait, didn't you go to, like, college or have friends in 2004? Or, right? 04?
Yeah, 04.
Yeah.
It was 04.
Like, it was, like, all through high school, and then, like, once you get to college, then everybody had seen us, and you kept watching it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just one of those movies you pop in, and you watch.
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't get that. People need to get on that. If you're listening and you haven't seen Mean Girls, it's on Netflix. Oh, no, they took it off Netflix. That was the thing, is that someone went to go watch it the other day. They were like, I'm finally watching Mean Girls. And then they were like, what? It's not on there. So lame.
It's gotta be somewhere. I'm sure you can
buy it. It's probably like $4 at Target.
Dude, for sure. Or Amazon. Come on.
Yeah. So.
Or it's probably on Prime. Do they have that kind of thing? I don't know.
I don't think it's on Prime.
Oh, okay. I don't have Prime. I just say, oh, it's probably on Prime. When I don't, if it's not on Hulu or Netflix, I'm like, oh, it's probably on Prime. I don't know.
Educated guess.
Sure.
Based on no evidence.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
That's how I make most of my educated guesses.
So let's move on to movies. And,
yes.
Kristen is freaking out because Snowpiercer trailer.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about this. You watched it, clearly. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's Red Band, which I don't usually watch because they're usually super crazy.
It wasn't a bad Red Band, though.
It wasn't. For Red Band, it was very tame.
Yeah.
But the part, okay, so I'll give the synopsis. For those
give a little synopsis.
Okay, it's Chris Evans. So if you were listening to my top 5, he's,
you know.
He's clearly at the top there. He's only dethroned by Hiddleston, only because Hiddleston has that accent, so.
Word.
Anyway, and Jamie Bell, who I also love, because I'm obsessed with Turn right now, if you guys aren't watching Turn.
Okay, by the way, just to tangent a little off of that, every time I watch Turn, I have 2 thoughts.
Yes.
One, who thought this show was a good idea? Where was the demand for this show? And 2, I bet Kristen's watching it.
Me, because it's my dream. It's a spy show, and it's set in history.
Yeah.
See, my 2 thoughts are, God, I really wish I had a cell phone, and don't go in there. Those are my 2 thoughts. Because every time he's, like, trying to spy, I'm like, this would be so much easier if you had, like, a camera.
Right.
Anyway, so, and Jamie Bell, who ever since Billy Elliot, I've wanted to I just love him. Anyway.
It's like, please don't. He was way underage and that. So it's like, don't finish that sentence.
Not that creepy. Just more of like, I just loved him. I think he's adorable. And then when he grew up, and then I got to be. I mean, I freaking saw Jumper, for crying out loud. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, point is, it's like the future. It's one of those post-apocalyptic.
Yeah,
the snow has come. It's like that I knew Ice Age is happening, and so everybody lives on this like ever-moving train, and the rich people on the front, the poor people in the back. And it's Tilda Swinton. Swinton? Yeah. Which, because she always is creepy to me.
Yeah. It was like, as soon as I heard her voice, I was like, Swinton.
I'm like, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it looks like they're like trying to start to kill off some of the poor people. Yeah. But there's this, I mean, it just looks, it's like these crazy fight scenes, but they're in a train.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like, I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, it looks awesome.
If they pull this off, it's going to be incredible.
Arm, like, to punish him, they stuck it out of the train through a little hole, like, into the icy coldness. I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
And Chris Evans has the beard, which I am totally about. I wish he had the beard all the time.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Evansbeard.
I'm a fan of that. Fear the beard. I'm like, love
Evansbeard sounds like a place in Middle Earth or something, doesn't it?
By Chris's beard.
The Riders of Evansbeard.
I wish I was from Evansbeard. I don't know, something. I wish I could go to Evansbeard.
I don't know. I want to go to there.
Anyway, I want to go to there. It looks just so badass.
Yeah, like this is like just like nonstop adrenaline rush from the look of it. This is the only way they can really screw up this movie, I think, is if it turns out to be more slow paced than it looks.
True.
Because as an action film, like this just looks incredible. Like
on a train.
On a train. It's awesome.
I mean, I loved train movies, so I'm super into. I loved Unstoppable, that movie. I'm like,
Did we go see that together? I feel like I had to have seen that with you.
No, I watched it at my parents' house. It was just randomly one night. I don't even know why we had it or something. My dad, I don't know. Sometimes my dad just like buys movies, which is weird.
I do that.
Anyway, so I'm like, oh, Chris Pine, he's hot. Let's watch it. And Denzel, I'm like, Beast of my heart. It's like my two favorite people in the world.
Right.
I really should have a top 20 because those guys would both be on it.
Yeah.
Anyway. And it's like so stressful because it's like, oh, it's like always moving and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? And so
it's a true story. So if you don't know the story, you never know if it's going to end well or badly.
Right? Because I saw Perfect Storm, which ruined me for life.
That's true, yeah.
And that's always made now, based on a true story movie, is extremely stressful for me. Yeah. Because I'm like, are they going to live? Are they all going to die?
Yeah, everybody might die.
Are they going to say based on a true story, but they really don't know what happened because everybody died, which is super annoying. I'm like, don't say based on a true story. Yeah. Say, hey, this kind of happened. We heard about it. And so we wrote a movie that we made up completely by ourselves.
Exactly.
Like, that's what it would be, the disclaimer. But anyway, Snowpiercer looks phenomenal. Yeah. Super stoked to see it. And I want to go. When does it come out? I should know that. But
I feel it's
further in the future.
Yeah, obviously. It's said on the page, but I have already forgotten. And then this week, Neighbors came out. Did you see it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
The rounds that Zac Efron is making on everything are just like killing me because I want to see it so bad.
Did you see him on Fallon?
Yes. When he kept on about, like, dropping F-bombs.
Yeah. And he's like, we're like, oh, I sent that to you. That's fine.
Yeah. I do watch the things you send me.
Good. Great.
It's true.
Well, and you commented on it, which was funny. But so I knew you watched it. But so good.
Yeah.
He's just so adorable and wonderful, and
I loved him. We're old school in that even though we were too old for it, Kristen and I were big time High School Musical fans.
I own all 3 High School Musicals.
Yeah, me too.
I went and saw the 3rd one at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood.
Ooh, see, I lived in Oregon at the time, so me and Emily went and saw it just at the old
I was there opening night,
TV
guys.
Highway. Movies on TV. See, we know where we saw it. That's how into this.
I remember the first time I saw High School Musical on DVD at my friend Ashley's house in high school. She's like, oh, my boyfriend's mom loves this movie. It's so good. I'm like, okay, let's watch it. And I was like, I'm obsessed. I'm going to go buy this right now. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, no.
And then I got swept in. I had the soundtracks. Yep. One of my first karaoke songs was Bet on It.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. FYI, Laddie and I nail Bet on It in karaoke. Everyone should be so lucky as to see that happen.
It is. Yeah. If you have seen us, you're welcome.
That was like we went and we did Bet on It karaoke this one time, and it was like nobody knew this song because they're grown-ups. And like at first everyone was kind of like, what are they doing up there? And by the end of it, like everybody was into it.
We're like doing one of these things like rock stars do, and they're like, bet on it. We're like, bet on it.
we believed if we put that mic out there.
Well, it's one of those things you gotta own it. And when you own it, then you bring the crowd along with you.
Exactly.
You gotta sell it.
That's the motto.
Yeah. Wait, did you see Neighbors? You haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet, no. And then this coming week, we have Godzilla coming out.
Oh my gosh.
The magic.
Gosh, May is like a good month.
It really is. I forget. Well, here's the thing: is normally I'm out of school in May, and this year my school goes till mid-June, and so like I think this is always like a good time for movies, but it just doesn't feel like summer for me. So I'm like, why is everything good happening right now?
Now that you say that, you're right, because it's always like Iron Man always comes out in May.
Yeah, exactly. All those kinds of.
It's like May and then like July.
Yeah, like I remember last year, July 19th, everything came out. It's just like stacks and stacks of movies, including the incredibly disappointing Red 2.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. It's good. You
The
don't want
red
to
one
tarnish
is really
the
good.
first one. Yeah.
Avery Holton looking at you, son.
Frickin' Avery.
But no, yeah. But oh man, movies.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I love like this season of movies because I love those like big box office.
There's the fun. This is the fun season.
Yeah.
Winter is the kind of like, if you're really like a movie person and you like to talk about cinematography and all that crap that no one really cares about.
Right.
Then okay, go to the movies. But if you want to see like fun, escape-y movies, summertime is like
this is the
your spot. Oh,
yeah. So I'm
Die Hard
excited.
always came out in the summer. Well, except for the Christmas ones, but the past little ones in the summer, I'm like,
Yeah. Although that was a little disappointing last year.
True, and I guess that one was technically February.
Was it?
But,
oh yeah, because it was Valentine's Day, huh?
Valentine's Day.
Yep.
I remember that's what I did on Valentine's Day.
Me
with
too.
My dad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Eat it.
It was.
But no, yeah, summer. So actually, I haven't named anything good right now. Those have been horrible.
Yeah,
but
you've
still,
made some bad.
I'm not making a very good point here, but
Nope. But that's okay. I liked every summer movie I saw last year, though. As I've said multiple times that like a lot of people were disappointed in everything, and I loved it.
What came out last summer?
Lone Ranger, World War Z, Iron Man 3. What else came out? Pacific Rim.
That one was awesome.
Yeah, like I had fun with all of that. And then didn't the Cornetto one, wasn't that in the summer too? World's End?
Yeah, World's End. Because we did the whole trilogy.
Yeah, we all went to the like all day trilogy. I'm pretty sure that was summer as well.
I think it was. It was August.
Oh, okay, yeah. So end of the summer. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a good season, and I always look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's movies, and I think we've managed to cover all of these things succinctly.
Dude, we did a really good job.
I know,
I'm super
right?
proud of us.
Our flow is pretty good. So let us know what you thought of how we did with the show.
Oh God.
That was my mic.
Did that fall down your shirt? That's what it looked like.
Kind of fell in my pants. I also accidentally sat on the remote and turned the TV on at the same time. So that was a weird moment for me. So that's it for me and Kristen this week. Thanks for listening, everybody. Let us know what you thought of the show today, and you can email us at electricfancave@gmail.com, comment on the Electric Feast Facebook or on the YouTube, and now you can even follow us and shoot us messages on Twitter. Check us out at Electric Fan Cave. Well, we'll get her there. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and anywhere else the podcast shows up. And if you like us, hey, why not rate and review on iTunes? We're also up for hearing your jokes, your corrections, your suggestions on things we should talk about, and so on. We love when you talk nerdy to us. Till next time, I'm Corrigan Vaughn.
And I'm Kristen Latterell.
You stay classy, Internet.
I remember you were posting something a while back about like, oh, this new algorithm on Facebook. I was like, oh, what does that even mean? I'm like, does Facebook even have an algorithm? I'm like, the Facebook algorithm is pretty much like pi, 3.1427 divided by 7. And I'm like, oh my God, what is she even talking about? And like, you're like all mad about it. And people are like, I know. They're like, everybody was so enraged. And I was like, what are we talking about right now?